everybody. Welcome to the PowerCast with Dave and Erik. Live with you every Tuesday. We're very excited to be here with you. A very exciting show. Something more specific we haven't talked about in a little while. Real estate specific to the market, what's going on. This first show...
The real estate show is going to do real estate.
We're doing a little bit of real estate because, you know, every week we have these great guests that love to come on our show, talk about what's going on, and we'll have to go back over those amazing people as well.
Fantastic guests, which we need to follow up with some of them.
We definitely
see where they are now.
Absolutely.
You know, what if any impact the podcast has had.
Yeah, businesses.
You know,
I like
absolutely.
That. They're a very good idea.
One footnote on an update. I think it was about, I don't know the time frame. Was it 6 months ago?
Who was it?
David Hunter.
Yes.
From Mary Wade.
Mary Wade.
So one of the topics that we were talking about on that episode was that they have the new building, Chatham.
Yes, Chatham.
Where they have unit rentals for seniors there and everything.
Must be going crazy.
Well, it's opened up now.
No kidding.
Yep.
I have.
So they're available. Anybody who's looking for someplace for mom
Mary
or for
Wade,
themselves.
A beautiful place to bring your family. Very well taken care of.
Yes.
You know, I gotta imagine that place is gonna fill up pretty quickly because so many people are selling their homes right now and needing a place to go to, such as Mary Wade.
Right, and they're making good money selling their houses now.
And as a matter of fact, that's another good point, is the fact that it's a great time to sell their homes because the market is at its all-time higher than we've ever seen before. Mary Wade's a great place to bring their families to sell their house now, make a ton of money, and then
use those proceeds to pay for mom or dad or both of their comfortable living.
So make sure you have Mary Wade's contact information. We'll make sure we have it for you by the end of the show if Erik doesn't have it on him right now.
I don't.
And we'll make sure that you have access to get in touch with the right people.
This was totally spontaneous.
Totally spontaneous.
Totally spontaneous.
On the cuff.
Yes.
We are always doing things kind of crazy like that.
Yes.
But
except when it comes to your purchase or sale of home. Then we're nothing but professional.
Nothing but professional. I love it. It's exactly right. So we've got some things to talk about with you in the real estate market. Before we start with that, let's remind our guests to make sure to check us out on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Team Powerhouse Real Estate. On YouTube, you're going to hit subscribe. And when you hit subscribe, you have a chance to watch our podcast every week, live or on the replay. And you can also go on Spotify, type in the PowerCast, Team Powerhouse, the PowerCast. We're also on Apple. Go to your Apple Podcast, and type in the PowerCast, right, Jonathan? And then from there, you got TikTok. You have Twitch. On TikTok, it's Team Powerhouse.
Spotify.
Team Powerhouse Sells. On Spotify, you have Team Powerhouse Real Estate. On Instagram, Team Powerhouse.
You keep track of all of these?
You know, it's tough to keep track. It's tough to remember the words in my mouth to get all tongue-tied over here. But even that Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Spotify. What else? Help me out over here. Apple. Go to Apple.
I don't know them. So.
That's unbelievable. All right, so we are everywhere for you to find us and listen to our shows. And we love having you as listeners. Download, listen, and enjoy. A lot of great guests we've had in the last 6 months for sure.
Yeah.
I think we've had like almost 40 shows so far.
Have we?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I've only done like 10.
Yeah. Sober.
I'm missing in action. For a lot of them.
Sober, is he?
If I don't like the content, I'm not going to be here. I'm sorry.
All right, so let's talk about the real estate and what's been going on, Erik. We've got some graphs in front of us that we're going to have Jonathan pop up on the screen for you guys as we go through them. Let's go with the first one over here. From January to January from 2020, we had, and Erik, why don't you go into actually the graph over here if you don't mind?
Yeah, so the graph that you're going to see in front of you shows there's going to be a blue line on it's a bar graph. On the left-hand side, you're going to see a 5.7, okay? So that 5.7, rounded to 6. So the MLS and National Association of Realtors, this is what they assume is a 6-month supply of homes. So like if you have a 6-month supply of vodka at home, okay, is it based on how much I drink per day? This vodka will last me 6 months, right?
I just caught on. I mean, he said vodka? What?
So it's the same concept with this.
Oh my
Based
gosh.
on the average number of houses sold in a day, in a week, in a month, they figure we've got about, this is in 2020, right?
2020.
We've got about 6 months. If nobody else lists a house and we sell 10 a day over this time frame, we've got 6 months worth of houses.
And no one else buys.
Right.
At point
No, sells. I mean, lists. So there's 1,000 houses on the market, and those 1,000 houses should last 6 months
Yes.
with the number of buyers per day. If nobody else lists, so they estimated it to be about, it technically was 5.7, but it's about 6. So 6 months supply of houses in January of 2020, when we all know what happened roughly
Boom.
around that time period.
We had a market shutdown, right?
We had a world
A
shutdown.
world shutdown.
Yeah.
And then you take that same graph and you go to 2021, and the amount of supply of homes we had on the market were 3.8% compared to almost 6% in 1 year's time. And it felt different because this is all New Haven County, is that right?
That's everywhere.
Or in the state of Connecticut.
The state of
So in the
Connecticut.
state of Connecticut, which is pretty big, as you guys know, we have a lot of different territories, whether you're in, Litchfield County, you're in Fairfield County, you're in New Haven County, Hartford County.
County.
There's a pretty big gamut of amount of homes we
I don't
have.
know the name of the county over by Rhode Island. It's too far.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. So that being said, we had a drop from 5.7 to 3.8% in 2021.
In 2021. So in January 2021, there was about 60% of the houses available that there were 1 year prior.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, especially again for the amount of people in the state and how many people buying.
And going back to what we were doing in January 2021, I don't know that I felt the impact of
You're
that.
recovering from New
No.
Year's.
But I'm saying, from New Year's. Yeah. I don't know that I felt the impact of
Right.
that inventory decrease.
It's funny you mentioned that. I think that it was more because we were kind of busy in the end of the year. So it wasn't like we realized it happened until it happened. If that makes any sense.
Well, that's what carries us to. So for this month, right, for January of 2022,
This is where you really
the
see
number of houses that are on the market right now is estimated to be a 2.2 month supply.
in the whole state of Connecticut,
So that's
which is insane.
So that's if nobody lists and everybody buys these houses up, there won't be any houses to buy in 2 months if
And-
nothing else lists.
And that's exactly what these buyers are feeling like because they're literally coming out to the market. We just listed a house in a property, we just listed a house last week in North Haven, and in a price range of $225,000. It's unbelievable how many people are shopping in the lower end price range. Let's call it 200 to 300 versus 300 to 400, 400 to 500. It's dramatically explosive because there are as many buyers shopping in each category as they were not happening before, I guess you could say.
I wouldn't doubt it that, and I think I know the property that you're talking about.
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Okay. So somebody who's in the 350 range or 375 range, let's say, could say, you know what? I could buy this house
Yeah.
and put the rest of my money into fixing it up
That's
or,
right.
or updating it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I still have my 350.
Right.
So I think they're kind of altering their search style. It's like instead of trying to find an already established home at 350,
Yes.
which is next to impossible, let's find a fixer-upper. I've actually steered some clients towards fixer-uppers because we couldn't find what they were looking for.
You were never steering anybody into anything.
Well,
except the
steering-
fact you were driving the car.
Not steering the bad steering.
But yeah, no, definitely. You have to keep the buyers to have an open mind. I was just talking to clients recently, and it's very frustrating for them because they're looking for that home that's already done, right? And everybody wants the home that's already done.
Yeah,
Here's the-
turnkey.
Turnkey, right?
Turnkey.
But the problem with that is that you have so few that happen to be doing that or available that when a property comes to the market, there's literally 30, 40 offers on the house.
Mm-hmm.
And the offers are coming in staggering. And the amount of cash buyers today shopping is I've never seen before. The fact that these buyers now are shopping for homes.
Well, it's as competitive. I haven't been in the industry as long as you have, but
But
I didn't. That wasn't a salute.
no, that was like a.
But-
yeah, go ahead.
But so I only have like a 3 or 4 year sample to work from. But I can tell you that it's like night and day from what it was 3 years ago.
It is absolutely night and day.
It's so competitive. You can't just be like great. You have to be amazing.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it's very tough for these buyers because the lending, what's happening in this market is now there's a lot of options for mortgages, which is great, but you actually have to be very qualified. And being very qualified is not so easy nowadays because they're really going to check you out up and down, left and right. On top of that, you're competing with cash buyers, and what the interest rates are doing to the buyer today is really staggering because their ability to go as high as they were before is not the same because they've come down. Their percentage went from 2% now to 4.5% over the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge jump in percentage with the inflation that's happening. Except the real estate market is flying with a shortage in homes. So we definitely have some interesting times ahead. But what I'm going to say to you is, as a buyer, and Erik, correct me if I'm wrong, is you need to make sure you keep an open mind now. You cannot think, I'm going to buy the perfect turnkey house. I got to figure out to myself, what am I going to do exactly to get a house that I want to be in, an area I want to be in, and go, okay, I'm going to have projects ahead of me. When my wife Val and I, we bought a house, I knew that our plan was every year to do a project in the house. And if you keep that mindset, hey, I'm buying a house that's in a great location, and I'm going to have projects every year. We're going to save money, do our normal things, and make the effort to make value in that house. Your average buyer, your first-time buyer, is a 5 to 7 year buyer. Mm-hmm. The last couple of years, people bought houses in 2 years, selling them, making money, and buying more homes. Let's go back to the graph for a second because we just, it's some important information over here. So from 12...
Well, are we still on the... on the supply.
We can just go back just to complete that, just to make sure we're understanding. So from 2020, where you had a 6-month supply of homes, and to 2022, okay, in January to January, right?
It's now a 2-month supply.
It's now a 2-month supply of homes.
Right, and
that's in the whole state.
But I don't get the impression that there are wholesale list of houses that are just coming out either.
Now.
It's not like it's like, okay, well,
you and I have 3 or 4
February,
homes.
I haven't seen a bunch of houses pop up that were...
Listen, together we have 3 or 4 homes at least we know that are coming to market, that people are getting their houses ready to work on.
Yep.
And every agent knows at least one client getting their houses ready. The problem is these people are waiting too long. They need to get their house in the market because actually, I'm not even sure if it makes a difference or not, if they wait or not wait, because will there be any homes available 2-3 months from now? We don't know, realistically.
Well, with the exponential decrease that we've seen here,
right.
Now that was for single-family houses.
Yes.
For condos, there was a 4.6, a 3.7, and now it's also a 2.2. So condos and single-family houses, the current inventory will last 2 months if no one else lists.
You know what? Let's go to this next one because it's actually a very important graph to share with you guys. And Erik, great job, by the way, on these graphs. I'm going to show you this graph here that Jonathan will get on the screen for you guys, and then you have a chance to see what this is. Erik, why don't you start us off about what this graph's about?
Sure. First thing you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see my office number, my fax number, and my email address.
Fax number.
Yes, I do still use fax.
Love it.
I didn't even know that was up there until just now. So you're kind of shut out this episode. No contact information. How to reach Dave Lamel.
It's okay. Erik's the main guy to be in contact with. It's all good.
So what are we looking at? January median sales prices?
Yes.
Okay. Single-family townhouse and all property types?
Yes.
Yeah. So and this is not indicative of all your houses. So in 2020, the median sales price, so the average amount of a purchase of a house in Connecticut in 2020 was $261,500.
An average sale price, just to repeat that, was the average price in all of Connecticut?
Yep.
Not New Haven County.
No.
In all of Connecticut, the average sale price was $261,000.
Yep.
And in 2021, what happens?
January of 2021, 1 year later, that figure jumped almost 60,000. 300. The average sales price of a house was $320,000. Now that doesn't mean that a $250,000 house went for $310,000.
It kind of did.
No, there's a percentage of increase per, per house or per town.
Yes,
There are
Absolutely.
variables.
But we definitely saw an increase in those kind of. It was staggering numbers that kind of jumped up over here. But just to put things in perspective, that's a 22% increase.
Yep.
From 2020 to 2021.
So that means almost every house in Connecticut, except for Dave's, increased in. You could have sold your house if you bought your house prior to 2020.
Yes.
You probably could have sold your house for a
20%.
nice tidy little profit.
Oh yeah.
In 2021.
At least 20%. Actually, matter of fact, we have clients that bought a house in 17, 18, 19 that sold their house in actually 21, made over 20% profit.
Yep.
I had clients that bought 2 years ago, called me up and said, listen, you know what? We have a chance to sell our house and make a lateral move up in purchase price.
Yep.
With the amount of money of equity in their house, which is insane. So 22% from 2020 to 21.
Yep.
That's pretty amazing. And then now just starting the January market. Now we just started.
So from January of 2021 to January of 2022, there's a 4.7% increase, which is not as big as the 22.
No, hold on a second. That's January. We just got to January, so we're only 3 months in. And
No. I think this is a 4.7% increase from the 320 to 335.
No. This is 4.7 since January this year. Which is but my point exactly is going to be, and I know we're going to do some math over here.
Yeah, we're
22%
agree to disagree.
Hold on, 22% from 2020 to 2021. We're already 4.7% higher than
2021.
We're 4.7% higher than 2021, and we're only in what month right now?
Right, and to give you the numbers, from 2020 it went from 261.5 to 320. Right, so it went from the mid twos to the beginning of the threes.
Yes,
and then 320, it went to 320 to 335.
So you could have been December last year, and you had your house for sale, and you sold it at 320, and now that same house is selling for 335.
Yeah,
which is
thereabouts. Yeah,
which is about 4.7% increase from December to now.
Right.
Now here's the crazy part: if you take that number 4.7%, you multiply it by the 4. Let's do some quick math. Let's have a calculator over here for a second. Because it's going to be a higher increase than it was for last year. 4.7 times
but that's gonna,
4.
Remember, guys, this is going to vary from town to town.
It's definitely going to vary from town to town. But my point is, or our point is, that the market of value increase is tremendous and the amount of property is decreasing. Although we did talk about early in the last year or early in this year that we saw that there was supposed to be the highest influx of homes coming to the market. Which still may happen.
Hasn't happened yet.
It may still happen, but they're buying them up so quickly that you actually can't feel the increase in homes that are coming to market. They're selling that much faster.
Well, that's a good point because we may never. I'm not going to say never, but that whole 2.2, that 2 month,
yes,
that 2 month supply. That 2 month supply may not go up much because as soon as the house comes up on the market, it's gone.
Boom.
So that 2 month supply may stay at a 2 or 3 month supply because the houses that are coming on are going so quickly.
Yes.
They don't have time to affect the inventory.
It's kind of like baking cookies, and if you bake the cookies for a bunch of people and they eat them all real quickly, there's no more cookies left, even though you just made 100 cookies.
Right.
I just made that up.
Yeah, that was not a good analogy, but okay.
All right, so we definitely see a huge increase in supply and demand as far as...
we were just talking about was single families.
Single families.
Townhouse/condo.
Huge increase in demand, small increase in supply. Let me just make sure I correct my statement on that. And the demand is getting higher and higher. I know that we both have several buyers. I know the team's got several buyers shopping right now, looking for homes.
Yep.
And we're pretty aggressive about our clients getting homes. Mm-hmm. We just have to make sure that you guys out there, when you're thinking about buying a house, you have to understand, be qualified. Make sure you get your lender pre-approval up in front, ready to go. Because if you're not having a chance at any home. You go to see a house, you're making a decision that day, I'm buying that house. You will not have a day to sleep on it. It just doesn't exist. So come ready to go and come ready to win, right? Make sure you have all your ducks in a row and all your pieces of the puzzle.
Oh, I'm sorry, were you saying something?
So the next sheet over here on this graph we have that Eric was great about making up shows actually from 2012, right, to 2020. Is that the one you have in front of you?
That's the one I have in front of me. Yep.
That's not that right.
Yeah, it is.
12 to 2020. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is 17.
Yeah. Am I missing the wrong? Do I miss this?
There's 12.
All right. 2012 to 2022. Just so you guys can see. And again,
So now you'll see that there's plenty of up and downs on there.
lots of up and downs.
Understand that's not necessarily an indicator of volatility.
Right.
Because if you look at the lines going across,
Yep.
You're talking about marginal increases and decreases. Not marginal, but
Well, from 2012, it was pretty status quo until we got to about 18, 19, and then 2020, all of a sudden you see it kind of jump up.
right.
Because you have it.
But the
Cycle.
valleys that you see, okay, they're going to coincide with the beginning of the year,
Absolutely.
which is the slower part of the.
Or even end of the
Of
year,
the-
it can be a slower market into the beginning of
Right.
the year, right?
Right.
Although we've been, recently, I'd say over the last couple of years, like that November, December closings have been pretty strong for us. People getting in before the holidays start,
Mm-hmm.
ending the year with a new house.
Yeah, these are all these valleys are right at or just at the
January.
just after January.
Yeah.
So which is the the slowest part of the year.
Is definitely the slowest part.
Right.
When I remember when I first got into real estate back in 05,
Oh, here we go.
it
Remember when? Let me guess. You had to walk uphill both ways to school in the snow.
That's really good. I like that. My dad used to tell that story. But, as far as the way the market was back in 05, every summer would be the slow period. And it used to be summertime
Really?
was the slowest time of the year for real estate. People were on vacation. They were not shopping for houses. And I would get so stressed out. I mean, up until a few years ago, in the summertime, I'm really slow. My wife was like, don't worry, it's just normal, It's going to come back September, October. It's going to get busier again. And I would say to you that, and looking at this kind of chart over here, I remember that come around 18, 19, it started to change. The summertime started getting busier, and people were getting ready to buy houses at that time for kids to go back to school in September. It was a very interesting change in pattern. And I noticed now, like you just mentioned, we're slammed in the summer. Like taking a vacation in the summertime is almost impossible. Maybe like 4th of July weekend.
Never stops you.
Yeah. 4th of July weekend, typically it slows down a little bit because people do like to do a party that weekend and have a few days off. But after 4th of July, boom, it comes in at like a heart attack, full force.
Yeah.
And you're flying.
Last year in particular, I mean, August, September, and October were just July, August, and September.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
Bonkers.
Absolutely bonkers.
So looking back at this graph we're talking about over here, so it's really interesting you have this graph for us to see, Eric, from 2012 to see that till 18. But it literally shows all of a sudden 19, you see, boop, it starts to go up. And with going up, it also shows how, again, every year it comes back down and then back up. And when you see this graph that goes from 20 to 2022, it's like, boom, it just continues to fly
Yeah,
high.
this is a significant increase from 20 to 22.
And this is where it goes back to this average sale of home on these graphs over here. Like back in 2012, your average sale price was probably about the ballpark of
median sales price.
Medium sale price was about 260. Then you can see over here in 2013, maybe 265, 270. Then in 2015, it dropped a little bit. Stayed steady with 16, back in around the 250, 260 ballpark. 17, same. 18, same. And then 19, goes up about 275. Then it goes to 275, then it hits in the ballpark in 2021. You're almost at 350,
Yeah.
which is a pretty crazy jump.
No, you're above 350.
Right.
Well, in the summer of 2020, it looks like it hit somewhere around the 340 mark, 335, 340 for median sales price. And then there was a bit of a lull around the holidays, and then in the summer of last year, it topped 350. And
that's just
was
median.
probably closer to 370 as a median sales price.
Right,
Yes.
and in Connecticut, we have a lot of interesting towns because you can buy homes in Connecticut, in the $150,000 to $200,000 ballpark. There's a lot of towns that have this kind of properties available to you. And then we did.
Connecticut's pretty eclectic, though.
It's very
you've got.
wide
You've
range.
got shore, you've got city, you've got country.
Yes.
You've got country where nobody can hear you scream. Country, like John, Friday the 13th type
Right.
scary stuff there. Yeah. So
That's a good point. We do have a lot of different areas in Connecticut.
he's
too.
telling you to wrap it up.
Yeah,
don't
I
know
see
why.
that. All right, so listen, everybody. We want to thank you so much for joining us on our show today. It was a great show, very informative, and most importantly, we want to talk about the fact that you have a market that you need to be prepared for. It's crazy out there. Don't be scared. Make sure you're in touch with your realtors. Oh,
Look at this. This is. I don't know if I sent this to Jonathan or not, but look at that. Look at that decrease. This is the inventory. This is a line graph of the inventory of houses in Connecticut.
it's went from here, boom, down.
Yep.
And the point is, if you have a home that needs to get sold, or your family or friends, this is the time to do it. By doing it now, you're going to be very successful financially. And here's one more thing I want to leave you with. This is very important. You're thinking to yourself, I want to sell my house, but there's no houses in the market. Here's what I'll promise you. You put your house in the market, other homes will open up also, because they need to see your house for sale in order to have the desire to sell their house. So it's a domino effect. If everybody holds tight to their houses, no homes come in the market, the inventory is going to be even worse, right? That's not what you want to have happen in a
Correct.
real estate business over here. Not
No.
just for ourselves, but for yourselves as well. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to go to the wheel. We're going to see what happens on this wheel and who's going to be our winner. Jonathan? Congratulations to the winner. We're very excited for you. We can't wait for you to see you next week. Please stay tuned. We'll come back to you with some very exciting and new people in the show. You're not going to want to miss it. Erik?
What?
We'll see you guys later. Have a great night.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.